Welcome to the definitive guide to scaling on Facebook. We're going to cover Omni Channel Targets, scaling into margin, why CPAs go up when you increase spend, the things that you need to really understand to not only scale spend, but ultimately scale results, scale quality and volume of good customers, and really have projectable, sustainable, directional growth that you can use to double, triple, quadruple, or more your business every single year in a sustainable, reliable way. This is what I've done for many brands for many years, and I'm here to teach it to you right now. Let's go. First thing though, I just want to say thank you very much. You could be anywhere on the internet right now, and you've chosen to spend some time here with me, and I want you to know that I very much appreciate that, and I'm going to do my absolute best to make sure that this time is not only actionable, interesting, entertaining, but also incredibly useful as a resource for you today and in the future. I have spent a lot of time and money making a ton of mistakes and bringing lots of brands to exit. I'm here to teach you that stuff today. What I've done wrong, what I've done right, and what you need to do to ultimately see sustainable, projectable, consistent, directional improvement. Remember, it is far, far better for your business to get 2% gains every week, which, by the way, gives you a near 3x lift by the end of the year, than just try to get a 2x, 3x lift tomorrow, burn the whole shit house down in a week, and have to start all over again. Especially if you want investors, if you want to really get your cash flow going, if you want to get bankers to truly believe you, or even begin to plan an exit for your business. Sustainable growth is the path to long-term success. Let's dive into it right now. So the first thing that we ultimately need to understand is the biggest mistake most people make, and that is trying to scale spend because they've hit their ROAS target. Now here's the thing. Number one, ROAS is a bullshit number. MER is a fancy term for ROAS. We have to stop relying on this zero context data to make meaningful business decisions. I get it. You're saying, look, when I spend $1, I get 3, but that's not really true, because you also have email, and then there's Google, and then there's some affiliate stuff going on, or influencer, and then you have some subscription people coming in, and then there's returns on your product, and there's all this other stuff. The point is, if you have a 3 MER today, what channel are you going to make what move on, and why, with how much money? The answer is a number on a sticky note isn't going to give you that type of context if it's a return on spend or marketing efficiency, because it's lacking actionable insight. So we're going to try to scrap all of that nonsense. The first step is starting to prioritize high value data and not chasing basically vanity metrics. The other side of this too is to remember that attribution is nonsense. The concept of attribution from digital marketing is a sales pitch from 25 years ago, where digital advertising platforms at the time wanted to tell people, hey, we get credit for bringing you a sale. Because at the time, marketing on the internet was a crazy idea. So how is you as a salesperson try to get somebody to trust you? Well, look, we can take credit for all of these sales. Remember, attribution is nonsense, because no user sees one ad and decides to make a purchase. Also, every impression is a retargeting one, because I guarantee you, you don't have something that nobody's ever heard of before. If you're buying sneakers from my store, I guarantee you've seen shoes before. If you're buying a car, I guarantee you've seen a street before. Whatever your service or product is, people are seeing your ad because Facebook has chosen to show that impression to that user because of all of their behavior up to that point for years. And for the record, iOS 14 has nothing to do with this. So we can also throw out the excuse that iOS 14 is the reason we're struggling, which is also why broad targeting is the only target audience you should use. That's a whole other conversation for a whole other day. So let's get into scaling. Now, Just because you hit your ROAS target doesn't mean you should spend an extra penny anywhere because you have no fucking clue where to spend it. Here's what's really important. Start to measure your blended CPA. How much can you acquire a sale? Because you know that every sale either starts a lifetime value journey or continues it. So what is the allowable price that you're willing to spend to get somebody either started or continuing on their journey towards a lifetime value? And that number isn't just on Facebook, because remember, we can't always see all the data, and attribution is bullshit. Because maybe you see 14 Facebook ads and then you go to Google and type something in, you go to the website, and a week later an email converts you. Well, email drives all the sales. You can scrap everything else, except the well will run dry very quickly. You know that, but if your MER is a 3 because your email campaign did great, you're kind of shit out of luck with any actionable data. So what we're getting to is a blended CPA. Now, how we get this? Number one thing I like to use, ecosystem ROAS doc. I'm not here to pitch you on that stuff, just saying you need to understand when I'm having good performance in my store, what percentage of my spend and what percentage of my sales seem to be coming from this specific channel. And when I'm there, what's the CPA on that channel for that offer, right? So now we're saying, well, over the last week, my average blended CPA, including search, email, Facebook, and TikTok, is at 25. Now, in those days where it was below a 25, my Facebook CPA also happened to be below a 50. Now, you might say to yourself, well, I need to get a sale below a 35 or I'm going to lose money. So you're afraid to spend more money on Facebook because your Facebook CPA is around like a 46, 48. But your blended is $10 less than your acquisition cost allowable to get a sale. So at this point, what you've defined is that a less than $50 CPA on Facebook more or less equates to a mid $20 CPA blended across your entire store because of the lift, incremental lift, that comes from search and organic and TikTok and email and everything else. So this is where we get into the big trick. Scale into margin. If you have a $26 CPA blended and say Facebook is 50% of your spend and your Facebook is coming in at say a $45 CPA, what this means is if your target is at $35, you are coming in at 20 to 30% under your target. Now, what this really means is because Facebook is roughly say 50% of your spend, you could probably nearly double your Facebook budget. But to start off with here, let's say your blended is coming in at a 25, your goal is at 35, and your Facebook says it's coming in at a 45. You can spend more to get a lower efficiency on your blended because the extra spend might not bring you in a linear path. You might not just maintain that efficiency as you come in, and we're going to get to that here in a minute too. But the most important thing is there's a difference between what I'm willing to pay and what I'm actually paying. Now that difference, let's say it's 35%. Well, that means you can increase your spend on Facebook by 35%. And if you get 0 extra sales, which isn't going to happen by any means, you're still okay. Now, maybe you don't get any extra sales from Facebook, but you're getting a ton more site traffic. Your search volume is going to go up. Your email open rate improves. Your click-through rate on those emails improves. The number of email addresses that you're even sending emails out to improves. Oddly enough, also your organic reach on TikTok goes up. Why is that? Maybe because you're creating intent on the world's greatest intent creation device. And even though you're running a conversion campaign, you are generating awareness and buying intent, pushing people further down the journey because Facebook is not only great at letting people know you exist, but it's also excellent at priming and conditioning people to ultimately take the action that you are optimizing for, even if Facebook isn't the reason that they do it on the last click. Because remember, attribution is bullshit. The point here is, maybe you get 5 more sales. Well, great, you can go more. Maybe you get 5% more sales or 10%. Maybe you increase your budget and your blended goes up a little bit. Maybe it goes up to 30. Well, you're still acquiring sales for $5 less than break even or your target, which means you can continue to spend. The most important thing here is we do not increase spend because we're at our goal. What we need to do is establish a margin. Now, maybe your goal is a $35 CPA and you're coming in at a $35. That means you can't increase spend. What that means is you need to increase efficiency. You need to get people for cheaper. If you can establish a margin, say we get it from 35 week over week down to 32 or 31.5, right? So what if we establish a 10% margin, right? Where our goal is 35, but we're getting people for 31.50. So we've got a 10% margin between our acquisition costs and we're actually getting people for it. That means we can increase spend by 10%. And even if we don't get any more sales, which again is bullshit, we're gonna get way more traffic. We're gonna get way more direct. We're gonna have better open rates. We're gonna have more exposure on other organic channels. We're gonna get more search volume. We're gonna get more email addresses to send people out to. We are pouring fuel on the fire, raising everything, because Facebook is an intent creation device and market research tool that pushes people further down the path because it knows how to prime and condition them to take an action, because you've told it exactly what you wanted for probably a decade or more with every action you've taken on almost every website you've ever done. Plus they have all your credit card data and they've known what every action you've taken on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, your DMs, your Messenger, all of it. So the point here is scale into the margin. Don't say I've hit my objective and now I want to spend more. Your objective should be to be more efficient than you need to be so that you can add waste and then hopefully not lose 100% of that investment. This is what we call a total loss investment. And if that total loss is actually not a complete loss and you generate more revenue because of it, you can start to actually drive and measure incremental lift from running your channel the way it was designed to be used. This is how Facebook works, which again is why we use broad audiences, why retargeting is a luxury problem, and why attribution is bullshit. YouTube said you might like some of these things. Go ahead and give me a sub. I think it's over this way. Anyway, I hope you all have a lot of fun. I know this was helpful. I had a great time. I'll see you on the internet.